Mighty great God. Thank you for also the clerk of the National Assembly and all the team, the members that works beyond the scene, loving Father. As we gather in this honorable house to carry on the nation's business, the nation's affair, we ask that, Lord, your Holy Spirit will saturate this atmosphere and you'll use each entity, each personal loving Father. My God, even our two great honorables and the team that they are stewards over, just as the body with 2 feet, 2 hands. My God, we swim better with 2 hands, we walk better with 2 feet. My God, may the unity, the harmony, and the working together be to your honor and to your glory, and we will experience a greater, stronger, better Belize. Thank you also for another stakeholder, our media. May you bless them in a special way as they carry out this noble duty in building our nation. Grant us a wonderful day. Also consecrate the meal when it's meal time, and when it's time for us to all go, we ask for traveling mercies, whether on water, on land, or in the air. You just carry us safely through. Grant us all these requests and whatever good I feel of asking on behalf of our nation, Belize, fail not to grant it, and we give you thanks. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Papers.
I recognize the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Labour, Local Government, Rural Development, Energy, Public Utilities, Public Service, and Election and Boundaries.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to lay on the table sessional papers number HR 237A/1/12, report of the Auditor General, audit of the Julian Cho Technical High School, Ministry of Education, for the period April 1st, 2014 to September 2016. HR 237B/1/12, report of the Auditor General, audit of the National Sports Council, Ministry of Education, for the period April 2015 to March 31st, 2016. HR 237C/1/12, Central Bank of Belize, estimates of revenue and expenditure for fiscal year 2020. While, Mr. Speaker, these papers are only being laid and there is no debate, I do want to say something in respect particularly of the report of the Auditor General regarding the audit of the National Sports Council. Just to repeat what I said in my press conference, that audit report needs to go to the Commissioner of Police, who I expect will consult with the Director of Public Prosecutions, and I would imagine that action by way of criminal prosecutions will take place in the instances where the authorities, the Commissioner and the DPP, decide that the material sustains criminal prosecutions. There is one other matter concerning the then Deputy Minister of Sports. Again, the report will go to the Public Accounts Committee, but I do want to say that to the extent that there is an allegation of, as it seems to me, a violation of ethics, conflict of interest, since that Deputy Minister is not any longer in government as a minister, but is the Consul General of Belize in New York, he will certainly have to meet with me and offer me, as natural justice requires, his explanation with respect to what the Auditor General says. And I simply want to assure this House that I will act on the basis of what is in that report. Thank you.
I know we can't talk on these ways, but I just want to make a point, Mr. Speaker, and I'm imploring to you as the Speaker that we have the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee has reported to me that the last account, the 2012-2013 Auditor General's report that has been submitted probably about 2 years ago to the Public Accounts Committee is just stuck there. And he has submitted a report to the PAC, but the members from the government side, who are the majority, refuse to work on that report, refuse to do anything with it. So it is stuck there, and we can't bring it back so we can talk or we can have a debate on that report. And it's ironic that two of the members are individuals who want to lead the UDP after the Prime Minister retires. So I am pleading to you to instruct them that probably that by the next House meeting that report should be brought back. And secondly, whilst I understand and I heard keenly to the Prime Minister about the report from the Auditor General on the Sports Council, I was hoping he would say the same thing about Dr. Simon Koch, or what is it? Simeon Koch, who from Julian Chow, who is running for the UDP in Toledo West.
Honorable Leader.
So
the issue
I know they argue with you right now, sir. I just point out.
Okay, your point.
But can you please
your point is taken. Your point is taken and will be considered.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Honorable members.
Mr. Speaker, just to respond to his point just to respond to your point on the Public Accounts Committee, or a point of clarification, if you would allow, Mr. Speaker, the matter of the report from the chairman has been brought to the Public Accounts Committee. In fact, that report, Mr. Speaker, is not being stifled by the membership of the committee. In fact, that report would have to be brought back to this House as a minority report, simply because the members of the committee, the majority members of the committee, do not agree with the report. You see, the chairman ran away, put his own thing in the report, and disregarded the viewpoints of the members of the committee. And so, Mr. Speaker, what we said to him was that we would generate a majority report. And Mr. Speaker, that is what is outstanding, and if that is the complaint, I agree with that, and we need to get that finished so that what will be reported to the Honorable House, whenever it comes, Mr. Speaker, is his minority report, which he came up with all on his own, in my view. Not even the members of the opposition, the other members of the opposition participated in that. And we will certainly have a majority report when it is brought back to this Honorable House.
Okay, let's put this issue behind us. We cannot get into a back and forth.
It's a sad situation when the Deputy Prime Minister of this House has the gall to stand up here and lie to this nation.
Listen,
and I am telling you, no.
We will not get into a back and forth on this issue.
If you gave him an opportunity to speak as the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee,
listen,
I can also give my point of view. Clarification.
Please be as brief as possible.
Yes, sir. Clarification. And you can look at the minutes of the meetings. It was agreed by all members of the Public Accounts Committee that the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee would present a report to the committee. I have it in writing, Mr. Speaker. That report was presented to the committee on September 2018. Since then, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, since then, they have done everything possible under the light of day, everything possible to not respond back to the queries that we have or the proposal that was given, Mr. Speaker. So what he is saying that I came up with a report only on my own, it was done based on an agreement of all. But irrespective of what everybody is saying, the fact is that the 2012-2000 report is still on the committee's desk of the members of government, and they refuse to give a report. You know why they refuse, Mr. Speaker?
Your point is
they refuse
taken.
because it's damning of the same ministries that they represent.
Member from Kyle South, your point is taken. Your point is taken.
Thank you very much,
Let's
Mr.
continue.
Speaker. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Honorable members, sessional papers number HR 27A/1/12 and number HR 237B/1/12 are referred to the Public Accounts Committee for examination, consideration and report. And sessional paper number HR 237C/1/12 is ordered to lie on the table.
Presentation of report from committee.
I recognize the Honorable Chairman of the Public Service, Labour, Industry and Trade Committee.
National HR number 238/1/12, report from the Public Service, Labour, Industry and Trade Committee on the Social Security Amendment Bill 2019.
Honourable members, that report is ordered to lie on the table. I recognize the Honourable Chairman of the Natural Resources and Environment Committee.
1/12, report from the Natural Resources and Environment Committee on the Fisheries Resources Bill 2019.
Honourable members, that report is ordered to lie on the table. I recognize the Honourable Chairman of the Tourism, Archaeology and Information Committee.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to present sessional paper HR 240/1/12, report from the Tourism, Archaeology, Information Committee on the Hotels and Tourist Accommodation Amendment Bill 2019.
Honourable members, that report is ordered to lie on the table.
Statement by Minister.
I recognize the Honourable Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to present to this Honourable House and to the nation a report on the state of the tourism industry in Belize. Mr. Speaker, the state of the tourism sector in Belize is the strongest it has ever been. Belize continue to be a premier vacation destination in the region. Since this administration took office in 2008, and since I've had the great privilege of serving this nation as the Minister of Tourism, our sector has seen unprecedented growth, a growth that has over-exceeded projection and surpassed expectations. Mr. Speaker, over the past decade, there has been a 100% growth in overnight tourism arrivals from 241,000 visitors in 2010 to the record-breaking 503,000 visitors seen in 2019, making last year the first time Belize had surpassed the 500,000 overnight visitors mark. Mr. Speaker, this type of growth is unheard of, and most of the world and our region continues to grow at a modest rate of 2 to 4%. Mr. Speaker, I remind this Honourable House that this is well beyond the expected projections within our National Sustainable Tourism Master Plan, as the mark for 2030 of 556,000 is well in reach and is now expected to be achieved well before the end of the present decade, as previously estimated. This is no coincidence, Mr. Speaker. We are where we are due to the leadership and vision that this administration has had for the growth of tourism in Belize ever since it took office in 2008. Sound planning and strategic marketing initiatives to promote Belize, along with collaboration with local and international agencies and partners, has allowed us to build a global competitive brand increasing our connectivity, and now become a must-visit destination. Mr. Speaker, I must say that this achievement would not be possible without the hard work and efforts of our partners in tourism, from the Belize Hotel Association to the Belize Tourism Industry Association, to hoteliers, tour operators, tour guides, restaurant owners, and industry workers across this country. This victory we have experienced in tourism is because of you. Mr. Speaker, it is the Belizean worker who every morning wakes up before us and every night goes to bed last. The Belizean worker that welcomes our guests with warmth and hospitality. The Belizean worker that showcases our natural and cultural wealth to our visitors on a daily basis. It is because of them, Mr. Speaker, that Belize is no longer Mother Nature's best-kept secret. Instead, it is the most sought-out vacation destination in Central America and the Caribbean. Mr. Speaker, as we begin a new decade, this administration and yours truly look forward and passionate in continue to provide the correct leadership and vision that is required to continue this trend in tourism development in Belize. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to work even harder with our local partners and stakeholders in executing innovative strategies and to market, develop, and enhance Belize tourism product for the benefit of our visitors and for our beloved Belizeans. I end, Mr. Speaker, by thanking my team at the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation, the Belize Tourism Board, the Board of Management Agency, the Department of Civil Aviation, and the Belize Airports Authority for their continued commitment and effort. And without a doubt, Mr. Speaker, I thank all Belizeans and workers in our tourism industry for being an integral part of Team Belize. And I say this, Mr. Speaker, because of comments that were made by the leader of the opposition in his, I think, New Year's address, as though nothing much is happening in tourism. But let it tell him that a lot is happening. Likewise in the aviation department, which goes together with tourism. All our aerodromes have been in. And then, to clarify, our aerodromes like Kikaka, he mentioned of a $7 million cost. It's only half of that, $3.5 million was the cost of Placencia. Again, speaking about Emer Hernandez getting the contract. Let me tell you that one local from over there, from Placencia, has the contract of the fill. It's a A and B contract that has been produced, and I can give you evidence of that. That one for Placencia, it was given to one local contractor in Placencia. For the fill, the B part of it, that was the A part. Placencia is being constructed in two phases. Part A includes fill in the canal and its area to extend, and Part B will deal with hot mix, lighting, marking, and apron construction. Work for Part A are presently being done by local contractor and should finish by February 2020. Deadline to submit bid for Part B is February 7th, and that was placed in 3 newspapers. Bids will be open and evaluated as per deadline. No one has been awarded the contract for Part B. Let it be clear. New Placencia airstrip will be operational by August, September of 2020. And the loan for Social Security, leader of the opposition, was not 18 million, but 17. Okay? I thank you all.
Since the Minister of Tourism was addressing me, I was hoping that you would have been talking about Kikaka with the water and electricity problems that they have, Mr. Speaker, and that is that hurt. The people there have lost hundreds of thousands. I think that is what he should be addressing. But thank you, sir.
Please, I will make a point very clear today. This House meeting today will not get out of control. I am asking you to please cooperate on both sides. Thank you.
Introduction of bills.
I recognize the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Labour, Local Government, Rural Development, Energy, Public Utilities, Public Service and Election and Boundaries.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to introduce a bill for an act to amend the Mutual Administrative Assistance in Tax Matters Act 2014, Act number 14 of 2014, to increase international tax transparency and improve access of the Belize tax services regarding global allocation of the income, the taxes paid, and certain indicators of the location of economic activity among tax jurisdictions in which multinational enterprise groups operate, to give effect to the multilateral competent authority agreement on the exchange of country-by-country reports and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. This bill has the recommendation of the Cabinet.
Honourable members, the bill is referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee for examination, consideration and report.
Bill for an act to amend the Mutual Administrative Assistance in Tax Matters 2014 to increase international tax transparency and improve access of the Belize tax service regarding global allocations of income, taxes paid, and certain indicators of the location of economic activity among tax jurisdictions in which multinational enterprise groups operate, and to give effect to the multilateral competence authority agreement on the exchange of country-by-country report and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto.
I recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Labour, Local Government, Rural Development, Energy, Public Utilities, Public Service and Election and Boundaries.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order number 49-1, I move that the bill be taken through all its stages forthwith.
Honourable members, the question is that the next stages of the bill be taken forthwith. All those in favour, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Motion relating to the business or sitting of the House.
I recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I move that at its rising today, the House adjourn to a date to be fixed by the Speaker.
Honourable members, the question is that the House at its rising today adjourn to a date to be fixed by the Speaker. All those in favour, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Public business, government business, motions.
I recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the OPEC Fund for International Development US $10 million loan upgrading of the Caracol Road Project Phase 2. I move, whereas member states of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, being conscious of the need for solidarity among all developing countries and aware of the importance of financial cooperation between them and other developing countries, have established the OPEC Fund for International Development, known as OFID, to provide financial support on concessionary terms to developing countries. And whereas the Government of Belize aims at improving the connectivity and accessibility between the George Price Highway and the Caracol Archaeological Site through the upgrading of the Caracol Road, and whereas the Government of Belize has requested assistance from the OFID for the partial financing of Phase 2 of the project, and whereas the OFID has approved an offer of a loan of US $10 million to the Government of Belize to finance 37% of the total costs of the civil works component of the second phase of the project, And whereas the approved financing will be used towards the widening and upgrading of the 42.9 kilometer road, reconstruction of 8 reinforced concrete bridges, construction of a drainage system and ancillary works, including the installation and relocation of streetlights and water mains and other protection and safety works. And whereas the terms and conditions of the loan offer are as follows: lender, the OPEC Fund for International Development, principal amount 10 million, loan term 20 years, 5 years grace period plus 15 years repayment period, grace 5 years from the date of the loan agreement, repayment in 30 semi-annual installments comprising of 29 installments of 333,000 and one installment of 343,000 commencing December 15th, 2024. Purpose: to improve connectivity and accessibility between the George Price Highway and the Caracol Archaeological Site. Rate of interest 2.5% per annum on the principal amount of the loan withdrawn and outstanding and payable semi-annually on June 15th and December 15th in each year. Service charge at a rate of 1% per annum on the principal amount of the loan withdrawn and outstanding, payable semi-annually on June 15th and December 15th in each year. And whereas under the provisions of Section 7 of the Finance and Audit Reform Act of 2005, the Government of Belize is required to obtain the prior authorization of the National Assembly by way of a resolution for such a borrowing. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Honourable House, being satisfied that the loan proceeds would significantly contribute towards the continued efforts of the Government to improve access to the archaeological site and other tourism attractions along the Caracol Road, as well as increase economic growth by reducing transport costs for agricultural and timber production through upgrading of the Caracol Road Phase 2, approves and confirms that the Government of Belize may enter into a loan agreement with OFID on the terms and conditions set out above, and further authorizes the Minister of Finance to execute and deliver the said loan agreement and all other documents associated therewith. This motion has the recommendation of the Cabinet.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Just on a matter of clarification from the Prime Minister, is this 10 million US part of the entire package, or is it a separate loan? I think you said, is it the same part or is it separate? It's a part, okay.
Honourable members, that motion is referred to the Finance and Economic Development Committee for examination, consideration and report. I recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I seek the indulgence of the Honourable House to have this motion taken through all its stages this day.
Honourable members, the question is that the motion be taken through all its stages this day. All those in favour, kindly say aye. Aye. Those against, kindly say no. I think the ayes have it. I recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this is the appointment of the Contractor General Motion 2020. I move whereas Section 3.2 of the Contractor General Act, Chapter 6 of the Laws of Belize, Revised Edition 2011, provides that the Contractor General shall be appointed by the Governor General, acting on the recommendations of both houses of the National Assembly, contained in resolutions passed in that behalf, and whereas Mr. Omar Mitchell is suitably qualified to be appointed as Contractor General and fulfills the requirements contained in the Contractor General Act. Now therefore be it resolved that this Honourable House, being satisfied that Mr. Omar Mitchell is a fit and proper person to be appointed as Contractor General, recommend to the Governor General that Mr. Omar Mitchell be appointed as Contractor General for a period of 3 years with effect from 3rd February 2020. This motion has the recommendation of the Cabinet.
Honourable members, that motion is referred to the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee for examination, consideration and report. I recognize the Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I seek the indulgence of the House to have this motion taken through all its stages this day.
Honorable members, the question is that this motion be taken through all its stages this day. All those in favor kindly say aye. Those against kindly say no. I think the ayes have it.
Announcement by the Speaker.
Honorable members, it has been agreed that the following motions and bill pass this day. 1. The OPEC Fund for International Development, US 10 million, upgrading of Caracol Road Project Phase 2, Loan Motion 2020. 2. Appointment of Contractor General Motion 2020. And 3. Mutual Administrative Assistance in Tax Matter Amendment Bill 2020. As you are well aware, under Standing Order number 74, all proposed legislation, messages, petitions, motions, and other matters relating to the subject mentioned under the title of each standing committee shall be referred by the House to such committee for examination, consideration, and report to the House. The only logical way for this to be done, other than by suspension of standing orders, is for me to suspend the sitting to enable the Finance and Economic Development Committee and the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee to examine, consider, and report to the House on the bill and motions. All those in favor kindly say aye. Aye. Those against kindly say no. I think the ayes have it. The sitting is therefore suspended until the Finance and Economic Development Committee and the Constitution and Foreign Affairs Committee have concluded their business.
That'll be 15 hours. Thank you. Wait, hey, this 50 is a fake.